For Halifax, Needham.
Speaker, my question is for the Premier. In 2016, according to the Affordable Housing Association of Nova Scotia, there were about 140 people who were chronically homeless in Halifax. As of this week, 8 years into this government's mandate, 331 people are experiencing chronic homelessness in HRM. Mr. Speaker, these are 331 people who have been without suitable housing for 6 months or longer. But this government has not acted with any sense of urgency to respond to this crisis. Mr. Speaker, is the Premier satisfied with his government's record of more than doubling the number of people experiencing homelessness in Halifax?
The Honourable Premier.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I share the priority to start looking at housing and homelessness in this province, Mr. Speaker. I did meet with the Association of Affordable Housing myself and went over the numbers, Mr. Speaker, and I'm not satisfied when we had, at that time, 480 people out in the street in HRM, Mr. Speaker. I understand the numbers getting better, but we need to continue to make investments in places like the Association for Affordable Housing. We've invested $1.7 million into that organization recently. They have a seat at the table with the Housing Commission. This is a serious issue that we all need to take serious. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Member for Halifax, Needham.
Mr. Speaker, over the past 2 years alone, we have seen many investors buy small apartment buildings, particularly in Dartmouth North and in Fairview, only to demolish and redevelop them into larger, more expensive rental units. This ongoing loss of moderately affordable rental housing has put even more people at risk of homelessness. Mr. Speaker, without plans to make significant public investment in non-market housing, how does the Premier plan to stop the growth of homelessness in HRM?
The Honourable Premier.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And the way we tackle these complex issues is by working together, Mr. Speaker. That's why we put together a housing commission, Mr. Speaker. That was decided after I actually put forward a similar idea of a task force, Mr. Speaker. We need municipalities at the table, especially when referencing HRM and the tremendous growth here, having the second fastest growing city now in Canada, Mr. Speaker. That's a positive thing, but we need to continue to look at ways that we can increase supply, Mr. Speaker. That's the core issue here. So we will be looking at ways that we can incentivize the private sector to continue to build units, Mr. Speaker, and looking at ways to ensure that we're supporting the hardworking nonprofits across the province. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.